Amanda, talk about what Defector is all about.
So Defector is a first-person espionage, shoot-'em-up kind of action thriller where it's very in the vein of like the Born Supremacy and Mission Impossible. We drew a lot from those older games like GoldenEye on the 64, a lot of those really great throwbacks. There's a lot of like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out element to it. You know, we love the throwbacks but we wanted to take VR to the next level, but at the same time like appreciate the history of games and film in general.
I almost feel it's a very, like you said, a throwback to those cheesy, over-the-top action movies of the late 90s, like Charlie's Angels. The remake of Charlie's Angels comes to mind. The stuff you're doing in this game is insane.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's like little things like, you know, you putting the laser pointer on your gun, we're like, T2 all the way, you know, or like even in the bathroom, there's like the 3 seashells beside the toilet. So we're throwing back to like old Sylvester Stallone stuff, you know, like try and be as tongue-in-cheek as we can while at the same time taking the platform really seriously.
So there's a lot of movement in your game. How do you handle motion sickness?
Well, in our previous title, Wilson's Heart, we decided because VR was really new, you know, we just wanted to stick with like a locomotion type teleportation. And with that, like we liked it and the game was really well received, but at the same time, we felt that it was limiting because we felt like, okay, well, there's no motion sickness, but if you go to a certain, you know, from point A to point B, you can't really move around and have the freedom that we wanted to have. So with this game, we decided, you know what, we're not going to worry about that, but we'll get around it by giving extra like controller settings. So at the very beginning of the game, you're given multiple different options to choose. Like, do I want full control? Do I want normal control? Do I get motion sickness easily? I use the last setting. It's called full control with head motion. So we're also taking into consideration like where you're looking, which I think can be really helpful in VR because sometimes you'll be looking in one direction and you'll push forward on the joystick and you start spinning or something. So we try to think of everything and make people feel as comfortable as they possibly can.
What was it like working with Oculus and what have they provided you in terms of tech and support to help make this game a reality?
Oh, Oculus is wonderful. They're incredibly supportive. They've been with us almost every step of the way. They're always here at these events with us and offer tech support and, you know, creative suggestions and that sort of thing. But what's great about Oculus is they also give us as a studio, and we're an independent studio, so they give us the freedom to like express ourselves almost without bounds. So I really think that it's cool that they can be as supportive as they possibly can be, but at the same time, they're like, you know what, this is y'all's game. Y'all do what you want with it. So we really appreciate our relationship with Oculus.
Can you talk about the story that's going on in this world?
Absolutely. So in this particular demo, you're just on an airplane and you're an espionage agent and you're trying to get from point A to point B, which is essentially being on the airplane, finding a way off the airplane. But that's just, like the demo is really just a kind of introduction to the story. I kind of joke like this is a pretty pedal to the metal demo, but this is actually the most toned down like level of the game that we have. So it's essentially the story really starts when you get off the plane and you start getting into, you know, more like actual espionage situations. And, you know, there's many, many different levels that span the entire globe. You meet a lot of new characters. There's many hours of gameplay. Our last title, Wilson's Heart, had around 8 hours. On this one, we're going to at least have that much, but we're also focusing on replayability, which is why we decided to do plot branching through conversation. So, you know, if you play through one time and you say this and you go in that direction and the plot's that way, well, maybe the next time you'll say something else. It'll play out fundamentally different.
So you mentioned you were in the game. Are you in the game physically or just your voice?
Physically, and we did motion capture. Okay. So, and the way we do it is we do the motion capture with the audio headset like built in. So we act out everything like in real time, voice, physicality, everything.
Is that the first time you've done mocap?
Yeah, it was the first time I've done mocap. With that being said, I've done a lot of stunt work. I was a gymnast for 12 years, and actually the creators of this game had made a movie several years ago called Lumberjack Man, and I had been in that movie with them. So, you know, and I had done some crazy stunt work in that movie, so they're like, yeah, we feel like you'd be perfect. I was already helping them with PR for Wilson's Heart, so it felt like a perfect fit.
Any plans for PSVR or HTC Vive?
No, right now we're exclusive with Oculus.
When does Defector come out?
We're committed to 2018, but we think it's going to be later in the year, probably holiday season.